What's good, ladies and gentlemen? You're watching another episode of D&D, and on this episode, we spoke about the relationship between government and private sector and the roles that they play in the economy. We also got to speak to one of our discoverers who educated us on alternative energy solutions. So sit back, put your phone in D&D, and don't forget to dial us so that you can help us help you discover. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's another episode of D&D, and that's Dial and Discover. I'm Calvin Mercy, and I'm sitting with my brother here, Siam Khungu. How you doing, my brother?
What's going on, bro?
I'm good.
Good.
Another week, another episode.
Another week, another episode.
100%.
Yes, sir.
How busy are we this week?
We blessed busy.
100%.
You know? Are you busy?
All the time.
Making money?
All the time.
That's nice. That's nice.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Nah, it's been a good week. Just stepping into festive flow.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
festive flow. I mean, we're in November right now, and that's like now you're on.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're no more just talking about the beginning of festive, like we're in it right now.
Yes.
And I think it's just been dope. Last couple of moves with brands, last couple of moves with some entities out the country.
Mm-hmm.
Really dope way to just end the year on
Yeah.
a high note. I think I had a chat with my team as well, just to we just keep pressing until the end. And that's the temperature that we're on right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the end doesn't really exist. The calendar ends, isn't it? But you gotta keep going.
Change.
That's the real change. Yeah.
It's like the year, the number just changes.
Yes.
And it's like, which cycle are you in? Are you in like a 12-month cycle, 3-month cycle, 2-year cycle?
Are you on a vision cycle?
Which cycle are you on?
Yeah.
Which that's super key because I always say that I struggle to go on holiday. Like we had a chat like this on one of the episodes.
Yes, we did.
And I've had to become a little bit better about because I have these heavy runs that I do. But for the most part, it's like even when you go on holiday and take time off, you're actually taking time off to plot. It's like the noise, just switch off the noise. Yeah. And then you just still keep plotting because for the most part, you spoke about the run. What did you say? How many years you on? Or what's your...
Till 30.
Yeah. I'm on a 10-year run right now.
Right.
Yeah, that's like, I think after that, we'll look at the scoreboard to see what that looks like.
See where we at.
But like for now, it's like you just keep shooting the whole time type of thing.
Yep.
And so, end year stretch on calendar in the ecosystem right now. Everybody's just doing their last runs, last plays on their calendar. We capitalize on that. And like we said in one of the episodes, you're either closing a chat or beginning one for the next
run,
financial run.
Absolutely.
Essentially next calendar run because financial run ends February for most guys. But either way, that's kind of the flow right now.
Yeah.
What's interesting, I think, just in terms of like economic chats, is this chat that I just picked up on this Mr. Beast chat.
Yeah.
Right, I didn't pick up on it immediately, but I caught a bit late that he went in different countries in Africa. What I'm understanding, and create boreholes where there was water and made water available for those communities or those villages, etc. I think that's just incredible.
Yeah.
Right. It really doesn't even take that much.
Yes.
To think about.
To what? To dig a hole?
To dig a hole.
Yeah.
It really doesn't take that much. Right. But in hindsight, it was really just, when I was thinking about it, I was like, and in this case, like Mr. Beast is a representation of like just the private sector and what the private sector is able to do.
Okay.
Right?
I see that.
So it's a conversation I was having with one of our friends, TK, to say that this dynamic between government and private sector is like, even in our country, if we don't get that right, and which is what we're having an issue with, right?
Yeah.
That the government is this entity that has these huge budgets, right? But at the same time, they also have a lot of red tape to doing stuff like going and making boreholes.
Yes.
As simple as that, right? Where there is already water, and all you got to do is put the hole there and then build the infrastructure for water to go from the hole into this tap.
Right.
But that in itself has so many red tapes. But how I said it in our conversation when I was kind of running this trail of thought was like the government is essentially like a Titanic. It's big, it's huge, it's massive. It has all these different resources or access to these different resources, but it moves at a certain pace. Whereas the private sector is like a bunch of speedboats and yachts that can get to one location to another very quickly.
The flexibility.
Right. And I'm like, if you kind of dispose some of the resources properly to the private sector, they can get some of these tasks done that we need done in our communities.
Right.
And we're still stuck behind red tape because we're still trying to go through the governance conversation. And I mean, yes, we are talking a little bit of like the tender conversations, but I think even beyond that, the tender chat is really like, that's a whole system that we created. In other countries, it's not even called a tender, it's something else.
Yes.
But it moves differently and it moves more effectively because that government understands what the private sector conversation looks like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, we have so many issues that the private sector can just sort out.
They generally deem the government to be the biggest corporate. I don't want to say the biggest private sector, but the biggest corporate, you know. And I think your example of the Titanic is so profound to this because what it takes a speedboat to say short left, the Titanic needs to come with a whole...
It's a whole thing,
you know what I mean?
bro.
And that's generally because as the biggest, you're probably carrying a lot more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different divisions have different interests, goals, visions. You know what I mean? You always talk profoundly about the role of a captain on a ship and kind of directing that. So it always makes you think, like, what is the agenda of the captain? And is his agenda being translated correctly to the crew underneath him? And are they even receptive to that? You know what I mean? Whereas, again, comes to red tape, speedboat, I decide because I'm numbering it one man. And I say, yo, when I move like this, do you know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, it gets very, very tricky. How do you think that relationship comes into play? For example, looking at let's say boreholes, another one could be load shedding. You know what I mean? We've often heard so many people in the private sector coming about speaking, saying, yo, we could solve this thing right now. We might just come out, maybe invest in solar panels or get some guys as a project manager here, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I wonder why does that disconnect, you know? Is it the red tape? Is it just a lack of wanting to circulate the money in that direction? You know what I mean? I wonder.
So in fact, which is so dope, because like I've got a friend of mine that's in that space where solar panels is concerned.
Oh,
and
hectic.
I was about to answer that, but I think let's give them a call.
Okay.
Right? Let's give them a call and have this conversation with them. Because I think right now, load shedding is such a big conversation in this country. You know, we're losing so much where this load shedding is concerned at the rate that it's going at.
Yeah.
But I think maybe possibly there's other solutions that we need to look at long term because we're waiting for load shedding to end.
Yeah. Yes.
Is it ending?
Yes. Good question.
Right? So in the meantime, while they're trying to decide whether it's ending or not, I think we kind of maybe need to understand other options and other things.
Yeah.
So I think let me run this call and,
Okay.
and let's have this conversation. And
so instead, in this episode, let us dial somebody and get a little bit more insight.
Let's dial somebody that will basically give us the information that we also don't have. You know, and we're going to run it as our discovery, essentially.
Okay.
Hello?
Yo, what's good, my brother? How you doing?
Oh, good, man. How are you?
Good. You live on D&D with Calvin and CM Slunga, my brother.
What's going on, bro? You well?
Man, thank you guys for having me. How you doing?
Shout out. Thank you for making the time. We know right now you're on site somewhere just putting together the stuff.
I'm on site right now, man.
Yeah. I just want you to just quickly give us just an intro of like your business and what exactly you guys do, just so that the audience can understand that before we go into what we're talking about right now.
All right, cool. So my name is Thami, and I am the Senior Energy Consultant and CEO at Get Grid Solutions, which is an energy company that specializes in supplying and installing backup systems and full comprehensive solar systems. We also do the service and maintenance on currently existing installations. And basically the overall optimization of backup energy and full solar systems for residential, commercial, and industrial.
Hard. Yeah. Solid. So now
I like that chief energy officer.
You understand?
Yeah.
Chief energy officer.
Yeah, that's hard.
That's hard.
100%.
So we're literally coming off a conversation and saying that, like, right now, our country's facing a load shedding problem. And I think out of everybody in the room right now, you'll know most about that than anybody. And we're having the chat to say, you've got these dynamics between, government and private sector, and the gap between the two relationships, right? And how even right now with our load shedding issue, we've got individuals in the private sector that could probably provide solutions, maybe to the load shedding itself, but also to consumers and the communities. I think other alternative solutions, etc. And Sia kind of asking right now, like, what are other options that we could actually look at? And is this part of the private sector able to help us? And what does that even look like?
Right.
So I don't know if you could, essentially just share with us.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, bro, because if you look at it, just to give you a bit of background, this load shedding issue is something that came into existence from early 2007, right?
Yeah.
It's been 2007, that's when we started experiencing the insufficient energy supply. And I mean, we're close to the end of 2023, and there's still no end in sight with regards to a permanent solution from, I'd say our government entities. And that's basically where the opportunity is now being presented for guys who are operating in the private sector like myself. Just to give you a bit of perspective, there's a solar energy plant that we're currently busy with in the Randfontein area. Now, basically, it's in an informal settlement, but ultimately at the end of this project, which should be somewhere next year between June and July, we'll basically be supplying fully renewable energy to over 2,800 homes.
That's crazy.
All right. So
that's crazy.
It basically, I think it speaks volumes in saying that as much as it seems like there are no solutions available to the public, maybe from a government perspective, but definitely in the private sector, I think a lot of guys like myself have realized that this load shedding thing is it's not something that we should be experiencing at this level.
At this level, for sure.
Solar energy is actually old technology, but in South Africa, it's new energy, and it's presented a lot of new opportunities, like something that I call energy mining, because in the years to come, renewable, sustainable electricity is going to be a very, very rare commodity.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'm curious though. I mean, it's incredible you guys building what you guys are building, and 2,000 is not a small number,
bro.
Yes, in the spectrum of 65 million people, I understand, but 2,000 is a big number to be able to service. I'm curious, how does the funding of that work? Because a little bit of what we're saying now was like the government has these resources and these budgets more so, and essentially they have access to this financial muscle that can assist private entities like yourself to do projects like that at scale even, right? Because they can get there faster. Like he said, I mean, he said next year, June, July, if I remember correctly.
I mean, we've already started. We started the project about 3 months back.
Yeah.
Speedboat.
Working
right?
with steel manufacturer.
That's crazy. So my question is, what does the funding look? I mean, of course, you might have there might be some confidential chats where exactly the funding and stuff, but I mean, just the overview system of that. When we're saying, if government is meant to fund stuff like this, where's a private sector like yourself getting the funding to navigate, or how are you guys navigating the funding for stuff like this?
Yeah, man, it's crazy what word of mouth can do. Just through conversations with people who are really in need, because like I said, this is an informal sector. I think they are working with private investors as well, because
so it's one private entity to private entity, essentially.
Yeah, because ultimately the power station will be selling this excess energy to those communities at more affordable rates.
Okay,
and
got you.
it's not even really just about like the affordability of the energy, but the sustainability. Because currently, what South Africans are facing is increase in electricity tariffs, but the days when there's load shedding are not being taken into account when the bill comes. So you find that your electricity bill is going up, but in that month, out of 30 days, maybe you only had 15 days of uninterrupted power, and
you're still paying the full bill.
You're still paying the full bill. You know what I mean?
Wild.
So those conversations are not really being had, and we're of the opinion that people should be getting what they're paying for, and the impact, I mean, of unstable power supply on businesses and small businesses in particular, bro, is devastating. You know what I mean?
It's devastating.
It's devastating. So yeah, with regards to funds, I think the guys in the private sector have realized that. I think it was in 2 years ago. Just to give a bit of perspective, government had something like I'm not sure if it was 20 million or 12 million for a flag that they wanted to put up somewhere.
Yeah, it was 22.
Yeah, they had that whole thing. Now, with less than half of that budget, we're able to create a power plant that's basically helping almost 3,000 homes go off the grid.
That's crazy.
Do you think it's in the government's interest to actually have people go off the grid, or do you think that this is some type of ploy to further disseminate, the you know what I'm trying to say? To disseminate the people who can afford and kind of have the ones at the bottom stay in the bottom, and then the ones who can afford to go off the grid kind of have a better lifestyle. You know what I mean?
So is it intentional?
Yeah. Is it intentional?
Or do we really have a problem? Or do we really have a problem?
I definitely think that it's in government's best interest to keep things as they are, because if you look, from 2007, the cheapest sort of alternative energy solutions that were available to the public were nothing less than 450 to 500,000, right?
Okay.
So ultimately, what that meant that customers basically have to go for like a second mortgage on their home to finance
a solar system.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And now what's happening on the back end of all of these things is all these solar brands, they basically pay some sort of a levy to government entities to import the materials, the solar panels, the batteries, and all of those things. There's big business happening there. I mean, in the first quarter of the year, something like 12 billion worth of rands or of lithium-ion batteries were imported into the country.
Is that this year?
That's this year alone, which is something
and that
like,
probably went up because of the situation we're in.
Exactly, bro. So it's just business. At this point, I don't wanna step on anybody's toes, but I just want to speak from my own personal experience and opinion that I do believe that government is not doing everything that they can to mitigate this energy crisis that South Africans are being exposed to. Because believe it or not, there's some parts of the country that don't actually have load shedding.
Yep. I bump into people every now and then that say they don't experience load shedding.
And not because they have like a generator or like backup power. Just they're not
just on that side of the grid or something like that.
On that side of the country or the province, there is no load shedding.
Yes, so I've heard those.
That makes you ask the question like, okay, how can that area not have load shedding, and then other areas haven't had power for like 3 months?
3 months. Yeah.
So before we just wrap up, I want to gotta give our people something to say. What are the options that a normal person can look at? I think we've got guys that are in business as well. We've got the SMMEs that we spoke about. Those type of conversations. We have people that have businesses, but you also have people that, they have homes, they have families, and, if they put the budget and had the information right, where can they look and what should they look at?
Yeah.
What am I looking at? What am I looking for, essentially? when it comes to finding this alternative solution that can help me?
I think the main thing is really just breaking down what are your essential appliances that you need to have on during load shedding. That's definitely going to affect the package that you're going to get. Like, for example, my cheapest package currently on promo right now for students and people who are working from home is starting at like 15K, right?
Okay.
Now,
so you cater for that, okay?
I cater for that as much as I cater for large business enterprises. But my whole thing is this. If I can get one person to experience power during load shedding and help them, go about their business or go about their day without any interruption, I think I've basically saved somebody's life one day at a time. So, for as little as 15K, we do supply and installation of a 2 kVA lithium-ion battery and 2 kVA inverter.
Okay.
12 volts.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but you're saying that I'll have power. That's what you say.
You can basically power up your life for your 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can have lights, obviously.
3-bedroom house?
Yeah, 2 to 3-bedroom house.
That's
obviously
pretty solid.
Depending on size.
And how many appliances you're running?
How many appliances you're running?
And that's a once-off fee, right? So you pay 15 and then you're on the grid type of thing.
Is that what
No, you're not off. You're not off the grid, and that's why we have this segment on our website. If you check it out, the blog spot. If you just Google search www.getgrid.com.
Yeah, we'll put the link. We'll put the link in the description and everything.
Put the link up, man, because the biggest thing is the customer education, and people don't really understand how to use this technology effectively and efficiently.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd actually love us to spend a bit of time here, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. So with this 15,000, I'm setting it up. It's gonna run me for maybe like a 2-3 bedroom house. On average, so. Does that last me 2 hours, 3 hours before it recharges to the sun type of thing? How does that practically work? If I pay 15K.
All right, 15K, that's just for your inverter and your lithium-ion battery, all the cables and installation, right?
Okay.
That is not including solar panels. So this is a backup. That's why I said in the beginning that we specialize in backup systems and full comprehensive solar systems.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So on your backup, you still need electricity to charge your battery.
Yes.
So inverter. And then depending on how you use it, you can have 2 to 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours, depending on how you use your backup energy, and depending on whether you're in load shedding or you're in a power outage, which are two different things that people don't understand. Load shedding is scheduled. Supposed to be from 2 hours. They'll say you won't have power, and power's coming back after 2 hours.
Right.
Power outage, on the other hand, is not scheduled.
Yes.
So it's not scheduled, and for the most part, there is no clear indication of when the power will be coming back. That's why some people will go 3 days without power, or there'll be a story about cable theft or a burnt down power station or whatever the case may be. That'll make people go for extended periods of power outages.
Okay. That makes sense.
Now, if you're in a power outage on a 15K system, it's in your best interest to not necessarily watch TV for 4 hours, right? You got to make your priorities straight to say, what are your essentials?
Yeah, which is what you started with. Yeah, what are your important essentials? Yes.
Yeah, if you're working from home, I mean, for the average person who's working from home, really what they need is their Wi-Fi and laptop or cell phone.
To keep moving, working,
keep moving, keep charging, you stay connected.
Yes.
When it's nighttime, you've got lights for your whole house. But in the same breath, it's not a good idea to switch on all the lights in your house. Right? You gotta now be sparing about how you use it. Think about it almost like as a power bank for your house.
Fair.
Yes. That's a clear description. Yeah. So
when it dies, it dies until you can charge it again.
Yeah. So what I'm understanding is that, and which is like a common one I've come across, which is essentially the inverters. And if you want to go to the next levels, that from there you then go into the panel conversation. Am I understanding that right? You then go into panels,
100%,
and then that gives you longer access, or duration-wise, now you've got longer access to having power during those periods. And
longer access, and also, I mean, if you're trying to make significant changes to your electricity, the whole point of having a full comprehensive solar system is that during the day, energy from the state-owned utility, right? You can basically power up your appliances in your house with your solar panels first. So it's one of the settings that you have in SUB. It's solar panel, utility, battery.
Yes.
You get me? So during the day, you use your solar power to power up your crib. And then later in the evening, when there's no sun, you can set your system to decide that should it pull in from the utility?
Or should it
if there's no energy coming in from utility, that's when your battery comes into play.
Got you.
Makes sense. I
think that's super interesting. Okay.
That's very clear.
Very clear. I mean, shout out. For the most part, what we'll definitely do is have the link to the site in our description as well, just for people to be able to go on there. And I think if they even have any more questions, you guys can contact the guys in the Thami's team, etc.
Can I just sneak in one more question there?
Okay, cool.
I think we really did cover from like the customer consumer perspective. So from a B2B perspective, I think primarily for people looking to come to this business, just two questions. First one is how heavily clogged up is the market share? Is there still space for people to sort of come into the space in the business and make money? Or is it pretty much already kind of consumed by the big players in general, kind of how everything else flows, in this country?
I think it's two things, man. I do think that the market is open right now for people looking to invest in the renewable energy spaces.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, for anyone looking at coming in, I think the market is wide open for anyone to start. The only challenge is finding reliable service providers. Because what I've come across a lot of the time, and that's when we actually started doing system optimization and maintenance for clients that we didn't install for, is that they're facing an issue where a supplier comes and does the installation, and then once they start experiencing problems and all of those things, the supplier then ghosts or doesn't respond as efficiently as he was when they were making the point of sale. So for us, what's been really important is pre-sale and post-sale.
Yes.
Okay. Right? So that's where we're able to monetize, because the rest of the guys are just worried about making the sale, and then once the sale is done, on the maintenance level, side. Because everyone's going to have a mistake. Not everybody understands the technology, like I say. So we've actually been able to monetize from just customer education and rectifying some of the mistakes that have been made by unreliable service providers.
That's so incredible, man. Jeez, we could run this chat up the whole day.
Yeah, we're actually running a campaign next year in 24, solar skills development for people between the ages of 18 and 35.
Amazing.
Shout out.
So, we're actually just trying to push that for kids in high school, grade 11 and matric. Just to kind of give them life skill that I believe is going to be crucial in the years to come.
Okay. I think you must definitely just reach out when you guys run that play.
Please.
We'll see how we can help and how we can just be a part of that. But thank you very much, my brother. I really do appreciate you taking our call and taking the time to have this conversation and just to educate us on this part of the world.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Once again, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
And man, I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. Much love, my brother. One time.
All right, love, James. Have a good one.
That's bong. Geez, that's one way of keeping the lights on.
Yeah, and I think what I wanted to say, and I was just thinking about, is like, it's one of those, it really is an investment, because right now, especially for businesses, we're losing so much when the power goes out. And if you calculate the months that we've been running on load shedding and how much you've lost, it equates to...
That's cute.
Load
shedding is a teenager now, boys.
2007.
It's hectic.
Oh, they've been running.
And it's so subtle. It's just coming in like
the whole time.
Remember the first time they went out, it's like, hey. Now it's like,
Exactly. Which is crazy.
Terrible.
I think if you tally up how much you've lost in those periods, it's equivalent to you putting together solar panels.
Absolutely.
You might as well then do it. And like we were saying, like right in the beginning, that we don't know how long this is going to play out.
It's going to run,
So I think right now, for those who have, especially those who have, retail stores, etc., but those who work from home a lot and things like that, you have those that have the advantage of moving around based on how they work. But I think for the majority of those that are working from home and have brick and mortar offices, etc., that's a conversation, and this is a conversation.
Absolutely.
So we'll definitely put the link down for you guys to look into that as well.
Yeah. I'd also be very, very interested, I mean, even maybe off the top of our heads right now, to kind of look at when there's problems in anything, there's always that silver lining that kind of presents itself as an opportunity.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
And I think with this, looking at the time frame, it's probably not going anywhere soon. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's not like COVID with the mask, where at some point, 2-3 years, the mask come off. This kind of seems like something you want to have in place. And even beyond load shedding, power outages, it's a recurring thing over and over again, Some states also come with the water solutions, because most waters, when load shedding hits, the pump is not operating, not moving. So load shedding coincides with no water, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just for maybe business entrepreneurs out there looking for opportunities.
It's an opportunity for sure.
I'd love to see what a solar stockfile looks like. Where we're all in the block, there's 25 units, whatever, we all put 1,000 every single month. We'll start with number 1 and run it up all the way to number 25.
Make sure everybody's straight.
I mean? Because that 15 off the bat might be quite a bit.
For sure.
I'm trying to say. It's very, very interesting. Guys, a guy can have solar in his house, pay $15K, and in those 2 hours run some kids some homework, or computers running, run a whole internet cafe just because of the power. There's so many different opportunities that can kind of come from that. So it's interesting, but I think that's a very, very interesting conversation.
Yeah. I mean, you're 100% right. It does create for an opportunity where that's concerned. And I thank you for the question at the end, just to is it saturated, or is there still room and space?
Operate?
And I think it's also depending on which level you're operating at.
Facts.
For sure. Because he was saying, back then you'd kind of come into the space, you're looking at setups at 500,000, etc. I think there are guys that service the big entities, etc., at a major scale. So you still have that. But one thing that I picked up was, if you can get the right funding for it, you can then navigate funding and the right supplier. So that's what you actually really need to look at.
Right.
I think spaces like this, I like spaces like this because you also have less. It has less to do with other matrix like a marketing conversation, etc. It has to do with, you really have to be in that space, and you really have to provide the service at that level.
Hence why you're speaking about other bros go out and operate,
and then
but they don't do due diligence.
Exactly.
Right.
So I think that's incredible. The fact that there is that other space as well outside of the problem that we have. There's a space that can provide a solution to our problem.
Definitely highly critical conversations. We're also being very, very meticulous, obviously, as well, about broadening the scope. I think we spent season 1 on a development phase, because business is business across the board.
For sure.
But now I like this in this season 2 sort of element, where we can delve into other industries outside of development, kind of picking back off of the lessons we've learned and kind of infiltrating on a more advanced level to see currently, right now, in the scenario with the education, what do we look like in the playing field? What does the landscape look like? And finding those cracks to kind of identify opportunities 100%. To fill the gaps and monetize.
Yeah, shout out. Like I said, I'm excited for season 2. Yeah. We've got a lot going on, and we just hope that you guys just, stay tuned, stay locked in, stay dialed in, for sure. Please continue to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I think that was a good conversation, so I'm looking forward to, as we're going, just taking from these different type of conversations and different industries. And I know that we're going to learn a lot too.
Absolutely.
Going towards even sitting with some of these individuals.
And also, just to make it a lot easier and more straightforward for our audience, if you're on Instagram watching this through a reel, if you're on YouTube watching it through the comments, whatever the case is, drop your question right there. Drop your question. Our admin team is going to reach out, and we're going to get your contact details, and we can dial you to help you discover, or we can dial you to help us discover and kind of put other people on. You know what I'm trying to say?
100%. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys engaging with us. Do continue to engage with us on all platforms, like my brother said right here. Thank you very much. This was another episode of D&D. Let's dial and discover. On time.
Danko, asbonge.